As an author, you're going to deal with rejection a lot. In fact, I really can't think of very many industries that will have more rejection than being an author. Because even if you land the book contract of your dreams, if you get the best agent out there, even if you get the movie deals, even if you get all the really cool foreign rights things, even if you have an elite group of fans, you will always be rejected by some people who don't want to read your book or who read your book and don't like it. There is a never ending fountain of rejection as an author, because even though you jump those hurdles and you beat those finish lines, there's still another to come and another to come, and it will last forever, because once your book is out, it's out there. It is out there for the duration of your book contract. It is out there potentially for most of your life. And even if most people read it in that first year, they're going to find it 5 years later. They're going to find it 10 years later when there's a movie deal. They're going to find it 10 years after that, and you will still be getting comments and rejections and critiques and reviews and all those things. So there's a lot of rejection in the author world. So how do we deal with that? When it comes to rejection, we're all going to be dealing with it a little bit differently because we process rejection differently. It's the same as any other emotion or any other thing that we're going to go through as a person. Who we are, our environments, the way we were raised, all those things impact how we are going to internalize and interpret the rejection that we are going to get. And the more you get it, the more you learn, the more you grow as a human and as an author, the more it's going to change and the less it's going to hurt. So let me give you a couple things that can help you out. And of course, it's going to be different. I'm 7 years into being an author, but I am well over a decade into most of my businesses that I have opened and operate. But I actually started my very first business over 2 decades ago. So I have been facing rejection for many, 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 many years, and I've learned a lot. I have really had to rip the Band-Aid off to help myself to overcome it. Because when I started my YouTube channels, when I started some of my social medias, I would get comments a lot. I would get people saying awful things to me. I learned on YouTube, there's what we call copy and paste comments, where really mean humans see something that sounds really vicious and they copy and paste it and they just plaster it all over the internet. So I get the same really vicious comments over and over, word for word or almost word for word, quite frequently. And usually the first time I get those comments, it stings, it hurts a little bit, especially if it's one of my personal fears or frustrations about myself. That can really hurt, but when you start getting them a lot, you realize it's just copy and paste trolls. So you have to understand it's gonna come. It's gonna come in a lot of forms, and I like the idea of ripping the Band-Aid off. If you can get a lot of that rejection out early, it can help you to overcome it later on. So I don't encourage you to read your book reviews. Book reviews aren't for authors. A lot of readers are weird about it and try to educate the author, but they're not for authors. Book reviews are specifically designed to help other readers decide if a book is going to be a good fit for them. I have a video right now at the time of filming this. It's the main video on my YouTube channel. So if you go to my YouTube channel, it's like the first one you can watch up at the top, but it's on the channel as well. And it teaches people how to properly write book reviews. So if you need help with that, check that one out. But understand your book reviews aren't for you. And it's not meant to critique you. It is meant to help other people decide if it's going to be a good fit for them. So your book reviews really are none of your business. It has nothing to do with you. Your book reviews, it doesn't matter. Your stars, they don't matter. But if you want, if you're going to, go ahead and read them. I oftentimes recommend having a buffer for that. So I typically say, don't read your own book reviews. Have a trusted friend, probably an author is a good choice. Your bestie or sister, probably not the best choice, but another author who gets it. Send them to your Amazon page, Barnes & Noble, Goodreads if you really want to hurt yourself. The quality on Goodreads, not great, but send them and ask them to summarize it. Or you can even use AI. I actually have videos showing you how you can be using AI to go through a bunch of reviews that you haven't read. You just kind of copy and paste them into the AI and have them summarize it. So that way you can see what people are saying to say good things about you, to things that they like, things that are nice about you, but you can also get some insight into maybe some of your hangups, things that people don't necessarily resonate with as much. So you can kind of go through that, have somebody else bring that to you. You're really good in this situation, but there are a couple of comments on this area. Maybe you should think about it for your next book. Do it in a way that softens the blow a little bit. They're bringing you the quality things, because oftentimes we see, especially in the book industry, a lot of toxicity for the sake of being toxic. They are there specifically to be mean. And that's all there is to it. And you don't need that. You don't need that exposure to those things because it hurts, especially early on in your career. When I first started writing novels, I had written several novels. I had several contracts offered to me. You know my story. I turned a bunch of things down, and eventually, I decided to put my first book out. And my best friend at the time, she came to me and said, I didn't like your book. I didn't finish it. I couldn't get past the first chapter or two. I didn't like it because X, Y, and Z. She was mean about it. Not in a friend way. Not in a friend way. She was not a good person. And then later on, she would go and find bad reviews about my books and bring them to me and say, oh, well, this didn't happen in your book, because she never read it and it did in fact happen. So this person is just making things up. And she was just a very not great human being. But it brought a lot of that to me in the beginning. And in the beginning, when you're brand new, when you're just figuring things out, when you don't have fans yet, that hurts way worse than when you are more established. But the more exposure you have to it, the easier it's going to get. But here's the thing, and this really is what I lean into as somebody who has gone through a lot. I'm a woman who speaks on the internet. I'm a woman who teaches in technology and male-dominated and oriented industry. I am the woman in all of the spaces that are not supposed to be women-led, and I get a lot of flack for that. And so what I have learned is that what other people think of me is not my business. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks of me. And I hope you take this to heart too. The only people who are allowed to have a say in my life are the people that I have chosen to be my partner, so my future husband, or any children that I have. They're the only people who get a say in my life. Not my mom, not my sister, not my best friends, none of those people, because they don't know me. They are not partnered with me. They are not part of what I have created. And I love them and I respect them and I want them to be in my life and I want them to be proud of me and I want them to think well of me. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they say good things. It doesn't matter if they say bad things. I do not listen to what other people have to say. I hope that you as an audience like me. Truly, I do. But if you don't, it's not going to hurt me. It's okay for you not to like me. I have to be, as a person, okay with that. And you do too. And I know it takes a lot to get to that point. It's really, really hard for people to critique us and for us to not allow that to sink in and not internalize that. It takes a long time for that to roll off our backs, right? It's something that the more you go through, the easier it's going to get. And when you realize that it doesn't have anything to do with you and it only has to do with them, it's easier. Especially when you get those copy and paste trolls, especially when you get people who are being mean about your book just to be mean. Rejection's gonna happen. And rejection in the form of people critiquing you isn't something you have to take. You do not have to allow people to come into your house and make a mess, right? We've all heard those examples. You do not allow somebody to come into your house and to do something on your carpet, right? You don't have to allow that in your house. They can take that elsewhere. You do not have to allow people to critique you if they are not meaningful to you, if they don't matter to you. And again, only people that I give any power to in my life is my future husband and my future children. Nobody else gets a say in that until I get married, until I have children. The only thing that matters is me. Nobody else's opinion, nothing matters. But you're also going to get rejection in the form of people turning down your book. Publishers don't want to work with you or agents don't want to work with you. And when it comes to that, here's what you need to know. That is the best thing that could happen. That is a blessing in disguise. And I know it hurts because rejection hurts, but it is the absolute best thing. Because if you don't have an agent or a publisher who thinks your book is the best thing in the world and that is going to be their top priority and the only thing that they're going to be focusing on when it comes to their professional life, if they are not pulling for you the way that you would pull for you, you're not going to do well with your book deals. They will not prioritize you. They will not give you the money that you need. And when it comes to concessions, because your agent will likely have to give concessions on your contracts, so not helping you, giving things to the publisher so that they can get future contracts with that publisher for other authors. You have to understand that if you do not have somebody who thinks you are the elite of the elite, the best of the best, the thing that is going to revolutionize the world, then that is not something you want. And their rejection of you is the best possible thing that can happen because now you can go find somebody who will pull for you almost as much as you would pull for you. You have to find people who are so strongly in your corner. And if you don't, you will not succeed in this industry or you're going to be low, very low on the totem pole if you succeed in the industry. So rejection, it hurts. I know it hurts, but it just means a little bit longer until you find the right thing. You have to be protective of your manuscript. You have to be protective of your author life. You have to be protective of your brand and your business and all of those things. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time. You know my story. I was offered book contracts and I turned them down. And for a solid year, I did nothing with my books before I put out my first book. And my books turned into bestsellers, babies. But I waited. I know what was going on. And I had some rejection and I did some rejecting. But it's really important to make sure you find the right fit at the right time. And taking time to get there is a good thing. That is the best thing that you can be doing, because if you don't have really, really strong people in your corner, it's simply not going to work. Rejection sucks. I know it does. And so it really, really is important to find friends around you to support you through the good times and the bad times. And some of those people will be friends and family. Some of those people will be other authors or other aspiring writers, people in the same boat as you. You want to make sure you have a circle of people in the same space as you, going through the same things as you, because nobody else is going to get that. You have to understand nothing is personal. It's not personal when people, when readers, when agents, when publishers reject you. It's not personal. It's about them and how they feel and what they're doing. And it's not about you. Just because your book isn't for somebody doesn't mean it's a bad book. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. It just means it's not the right fit for them. Find your own audience. Be a polarizing person. We talk about this all the time, but it's the best thing you can do to attract those that should be around you and repel those that shouldn't. You want to be a polarizing person. You want to have a polarizing manuscript. That is the best thing. And so rejection is not fun. I know it's not. We've all gone through it. You're going to go through it. I'm going to continue to go through it. You're going to continue to go through it. And together we can celebrate the successes. We can mourn the losses. We can build each other up with this. But understand, it's not you. It's not. Because you have a good book and you have an audience that is waiting for it, and you'll get there at the right time. But if you push it, if you rush it, if you force it, then it will not succeed. It will fail and it will be on you. So you have to not let yourself be guided by your emotions after rejection. Rejection's a good thing. Rejection is bringing the right people in and pushing the wrong people out. Rejection is going to get you to where you're going. Rejection can be your motivation. Rejection can be your guideline. Rejection can be the thing that gets you on the right path. Rejection isn't fun, but we should celebrate it because it's getting us to the correct place that is going to benefit us. It is going to serve our manuscript and is going to build our brands and our businesses as authors. I know rejection sucks. And if you're going through it and you just need a listening ear, or you need somebody to bounce ideas off of, or you need help, or you just need somebody to hold your hand and pat your shoulder and help dry those tears, my DMs are always open to you. I am always here for you. Email me, DM me. I am here. I have been through it. I get it. We've all been through it. I've helped a lot of people through a lot of different things in this industry. So please reach out. I am here for you. And I want to make sure that this doesn't deter you or hurt you more than it needs to. I want this to be a springboard for you, and I want this to be something that you can move forward from. So I'm here. And your friends are here. Your author friends, your other friends, we're all here for you. You are on the right path, and you are getting there. And you will get there in the correct time. And you will do what is best for you and for your manuscript and your author career. You will. And the rejections will make for great stories later. So write them down somewhere because it's helpful. Like, I love talking about my rejections. They do really well on TikTok. They do really well on YouTube. Write your rejections down. Keep a list. Call them your trophies. Use them later on. Okay. We've talked a lot about rejection. We've talked a lot about success. Drop your questions, drop your thoughts or your feelings. Let's be a community for each other here in the comments. I respond to every comment I see as quickly as I see it. So when I get the notification, I respond. If I don't respond, it's because I didn't see it. Tag me in it. Come back and tag me in it. That's fine. But I respond to everything that I see on this channel. I don't get all the notifications because YouTube, but I do my best to respond to all of you, and so do the other people hanging out in the community. So drop it down below. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes. Daily episodes here on the channel helping you navigate the world of author life, from your writing to your publishing to your marketing, to make this the most profitable year ever with the least amount of stress and overwhelming time commitment on your content creation. Don't worry about the rejection. We'll see you in the next episode.